Samadhi is often misunderstood as a permanent state of enlightenment. The common belief is that samadhi, achieved through meditation, leads to constant bliss. This understanding is a misconception. Samadhi is not a permanent state. It is a temporary experience. A false belief in constant peak experiences can lead to negative outcomes. One problem is chasing fleeting peak experiences instead of developing mental capacity. Another issue is feeling like a failure when these peak states inevitably fade. Finally, intense feelings can be mistaken for genuine understanding, hindering true progress. Samadhi represents a state of profound absorption. It is characterized by a temporary dissolution of the subject-object duality. This dissolution leads to a unified experience. In samadhi, the perceiver and the perceived merge into one. It is not a permanent destination, but a transient state. The core of samadhi is the unification of consciousness. The state of non-interference is not the primary objective of mental or spiritual practice. Instead, it emerges as a secondary result. This state is a byproduct of a mind that has achieved a certain level of stillness. It signifies a mind that no longer actively disrupts the ongoing flow of experience. The mind ceases to impose its own interpretations or judgments. This allows for a more direct and unfiltered engagement with reality. Samadhi, according to the Yoga Sutras, is a state of deep absorption. It is not something to be actively achieved or forced. Instead, samadhi arises spontaneously when the necessary conditions are present. These conditions involve a specific alignment of internal and external factors. When these supporting conditions change or dissipate, the state of samadhi naturally passes. Therefore, samadhi is a transient experience dependent on specific circumstances, not a permanent attainment. Patanjali positions samadhi as the culmination of specific preparatory practices. These practices include discipline, breath control, and concentration. Samadhi is not presented as an isolated technique or shortcut. Instead, it is understood to arise from a foundation of dedicated groundwork. This groundwork involves consistent and focused effort in the preceding practices. Therefore, samadhi is the result of cumulative preparation, not an immediate achievement. Samadhi is a state of profound meditative absorption. There are two primary categories of samadhi. The first type is Samprajñata samadhi. Samprajñata samadhi involves absorption with a focal object or point. The second type is Asamprajñata samadhi. Asamprajñata samadhi involves absorption without any object. Samprajñata samadhi is a state of meditative absorption. It involves focusing intently on a specific object. Common objects of focus include the breath. Mantras can also be used as objects of focus. Sensations are another possible focal point. This practice stabilizes the mind and reduces the sense of separation between observer and observed. Asamprajñata samadhi is a state of consciousness achieved without reliance on external objects. In this state, the mind transcends the need for a focal point. The mind finds stillness and rests within itself. It no longer requires an object to sustain attention or focus. This represents a deeper meditative state. It is characterized by a self-sustaining, objectless awareness. Absorption is defined not by a state of emptiness, but by a specific interaction. This interaction involves the dissolution of the perceived boundary. Specifically, it is the collapse of separation between the observer and the observed entity or phenomenon. Samadhi is divided into two categories, Sabija and Nirbija. Sabija Samadhi is defined as with seed. Nirbija Samadhi is defined as seedless. The distinction lies in whether traces or attachments are left behind. Sabija Samadhi involves leaving traces or attachments. Nirbija Samadhi involves leaving no traces or attachments. Sabija Samadhi leaves behind subtle impressions or residues. These impressions have the potential to draw individuals back to similar states of consciousness. This creates a cyclical pattern. This cycle reinforces attachment to those specific states. The attachment can hinder further spiritual progress. Nirbija Samadhi is a state of consciousness characterized by the absence of residue. It involves no clinging, indicating a lack of attachment to experiences. This state leaves no trace, signifying a complete absence of lingering effects. Nirbija Samadhi allows the state to dissolve entirely. This dissolution occurs without any form of attachment. The absence of residue, clinging, and trace defines the nature of Nirbija Samadhi. The key distinction lies not in depth, but in the nature of attachment. Profound absorption can lead to a clinging or holding on mentality. This attachment can hinder detachment or release. Subtle absorption, on the other hand, allows for complete release. This implies a freedom from the need to control or possess the experience. Samadhi is a state of profound concentration and mental stillness. It arises and subsides spontaneously, without forced effort. The emergence of samadhi is correlated with a reduction in mental distractions. It requires a relaxation of deliberate striving and exertion. Attention stabilizes naturally. Without the application of forceful control, the mind ceases its habitual comparison and judgment of experiences. This cessation leads to a state where the observer and the observed become unified. Subject and object merge into a single, unified field of awareness. This unified state represents a collapse of duality. The unified field is not static. It is subject to change and shifts. As the field shifts, the subject and object re-emerge as distinct entities. The natural arising and passing of experiences is inherent to samadhi. This arising and passing should not be viewed as a failure. Actively chasing the experience of samadhi prevents its occurrence. Clinging to the experience of samadhi brings it to an end. Meditation aims to reduce internal resistance. The goal is to facilitate natural absorption. It is not to directly attain samadhi. Removing friction allows for deeper focus. This process encourages spontaneous meditative states. Therefore, the focus is on obstacle removal, not forced achievement. Samadhi, a state of profound meditative absorption, arises spontaneously. Its emergence is contingent upon the relaxation of deliberate effort. Simultaneously, it requires the stabilization of focused attention. The practitioner's primary task is not to actively induce samadhi. Instead, the focus should be on diminishing the obstacles that impede its natural occurrence. By reducing hindrances, the conditions for samadhi to manifest are optimized. Breath discipline emphasizes smoothness in the breathing process. Regularity is another key aspect of breath control. Breath should be non-forceful, avoiding strain or tension. Disciplined breathing stabilizes breath, minimizing interference with awareness. Attention training focuses on improving the ability to recognize distractions. A key aspect is the ability to return focus without frustration when distracted. The speed at which one notices a distraction is more important than maintaining prolonged stillness. Consistent practice in noticing and redirecting attention enhances focus over time. In meditation, stability of focus is more important than the length of each session. The ability to quickly regain focus after losing attention is crucial. Reducing the time it takes to recognize and correct attentional drift is key to progress. Consistent, stable practice builds mental resilience against distractions. Focusing on minimizing the lag improves overall meditative effectiveness. This approach emphasizes quality and consistency over sheer duration in meditation. Inconsistent sleep patterns negatively affect cognitive functions. Attentional capacity is significantly reduced due to erratic sleep. The mind struggles to maintain stability when sleep is irregular. Dysregulation of the nervous system is a consequence of inconsistent sleep schedules. Constant input leads to overstimulation, which fragments attention. Frequent notifications train the mind to interrupt its own focus. This constant interruption diminishes sustained concentration. The brain becomes conditioned to seek immediate, short-term rewards. This cycle reinforces a pattern of fragmented attention and reduced cognitive control. Frequent context switching during the day reduces executive function. Executive function is essential for cognitive control and task management. Depleted executive function diminishes the capacity for focused practice. Focused practice is crucial for skill development and improvement. Therefore, multitasking can hinder learning and performance. Minimizing context switching can enhance cognitive resources for effective practice. Meditation practice starts well before the actual act of closing your eyes. The way the day is structured significantly impacts the meditative state. Addressing external conditions is crucial for shaping the mind. These conditions can either support or hinder mental focus and clarity. Therefore, preparation is key to effective meditation. The practice involves a conscious reduction of strain and tension. Effort is intentionally softened to promote relaxation. Breath is allowed to stabilize, finding a natural rhythm. The mind should be fresh and not fatigued before starting. This approach enhances focus and effectiveness in practice. Samadhi is not an active process of doing. It is a state that emerges organically. This emergence occurs when one ceases to interfere. The interference is with the natural flow of experience. Thus, samadhi is the remaining state when interference stops. The pursuit of bliss and peak experiences can be a deceptive trap. This trap is sprung because the act of chasing necessitates a sense of separation. Chasing implies a distinction between the subject, the one chasing, and the object, the bliss being chased. The moment this subject-object duality is established, the trap is set. True bliss, paradoxically, may be found in the absence of deliberate seeking. The separation created by the chase can hinder the experience of genuine, unforced joy. Attachment to specific states hinders complete absorption into experience. The mind's ability to fully immerse itself is compromised by grasping. Grasping implies an active effort to hold on to or control experiences. True absorption requires a letting go, a surrender to the present moment. Therefore, non-attachment is essential for profound experiential immersion. Spiritual inflation is a potential pitfall in the pursuit of enlightenment. Comparison with others fuels ego inflation, hindering spiritual progress. Practices that reinforce a sense of specialness are counterproductive. Samadhi involves the dissolution of the self-other boundary. Absorption transcends the ego, eliminating the basis for spiritual pride. True spiritual advancement dissolves the illusion of a separate superior self. Samadhi is a state of profound meditative absorption. It involves a merging of the individual consciousness with the universal consciousness. This merging dissolves the perceived boundaries between the self and the external world. The distinction between the observer and the observed diminishes. The sense of individual specialness or ego is transcended. Ultimately, Samadhi leads to a state of unity and interconnectedness. Traditional progress measurement often focuses on the duration of sustained focus. A new perspective suggests shifting the focus to the speed of distraction detection. This approach values the ability to quickly recognize and address mental drift. It emphasizes responsiveness and self-awareness over prolonged periods of uninterrupted stillness. Therefore, progress is redefined as the efficiency in identifying and correcting lapses in concentration. The key metric is the latency of noticing distraction. This refers to how quickly one realizes they are distracted. Another critical factor is the speed of return. This measures how quickly one returns to the original task. Prioritize consistent effort over sporadic bursts of activity to achieve long-term goals. Consistent practice minimizes distractions and interruptions, fostering a focused environment. Reducing interference over time is crucial for effective skill development and knowledge acquisition. Regular, focused practice gradually builds capacity and expertise in a given area. Embrace a steady, persistent approach to cultivate lasting improvement and mastery. The relentless pursuit of peak experiences can lead to burnout. Constantly seeking heightened states can be unsustainable. The body and mind require periods of rest and recovery. Ignoring these needs in favor of constant excitement leads to exhaustion. Burnout is the consequence of unsustainable high-intensity activity. After each meditation session, allocate 30 seconds for a debrief. This debrief involves a structured self-assessment process. The assessment is guided by a set of specific questions. These questions are designed to enhance self-awareness and learning. The goal is to consolidate insights gained during meditation. Post-meditation debriefing involves analyzing the session's quality. Identify sources of interference encountered during meditation. Common interferences include distractions related to breathing patterns. Restlessness and physical discomfort can also disrupt meditation. Pre-existing exhaustion significantly impacts meditation quality. The debriefing explores factors exacerbating meditation difficulties. Increased effort during meditation can paradoxically heighten tension. Comparison with others shifts focus away from internal experience. Clinging to past meditative states can induce frustration. Identifying these factors aids in refining meditation techniques. The debriefing focuses on identifying factors that influenced the meditation session. Inquiry: did softening effort contribute to a reduction in mental tension? Inquiry: did returning attention without judgment help stabilize focus? Inquiry: did posture adjustments alleviate physical discomfort during meditation? The process focuses on developing discernment rather than fostering attachment. Discernment involves recognizing the differences between various elements. It helps to identify factors that support absorption, such as focus and clarity. It also reveals factors that block absorption, such as distractions and biases. Progress is achieved by systematically reducing obstacles. Focus should be placed on eliminating interference. This approach facilitates natural absorption and advancement. Instead of pursuing specific states, aim to remove friction. Steady reduction of impediments leads to meaningful progress. Samadhi is not a state that can be maintained through active effort. It is not about grasping or clinging to a particular experience. Instead, Samadhi emerges spontaneously. This emergence occurs when the mind ceases its habitual patterns of holding on. The cessation of holding allows for the natural arising of Samadhi. Samadhi emerges spontaneously when interference with experience ceases. This arising is a natural process, not a forced action. It is not an entity to be grasped or maintained through effort. Samadhi is the state that persists when the act of holding on is relinquished. The cessation of clinging allows the inherent nature of Samadhi to manifest. Therefore, non-interference is key to the spontaneous arising of Samadhi. Refocus meditation practice on new performance indicators. Shift the focus from duration of stillness to frequency of distraction. Measure the speed at which distractions are noticed during meditation. This metric provides immediate feedback on attentional control. Mindful breathing involves focusing attention on the sensation of breath. This practice shifts awareness from distracting thoughts to the present moment. It can be performed anywhere, at any time, without special equipment. The technique typically involves observing the natural flow of inhalation and exhalation. Mindful breathing promotes relaxation and reduces stress by calming the nervous system. Regular practice can enhance mental clarity and emotional regulation. Integration is the application of Samadhi's understanding to everyday existence. It involves extending the insights gained in Samadhi to routine activities. The primary goal is to minimize interference in all actions and interactions. This leads to a more harmonious and effective engagement with daily life. Continuous practice involves consistent engagement, even in small increments. Regular, sustained effort is key to building capacity over time. This approach fosters a deeper understanding of Samadhi. Samadhi is a state of profound concentration and meditative absorption. Consistent practice allows for gradual progress toward this state. Small, regular efforts compound to create significant advancements in meditative skill. Progress is achieved incrementally over time. Consistent effort is essential for making progress. Mindful awareness enhances the effectiveness of efforts. Cumulative gains result from sustained, conscious actions. The core principle involves consistent breathing exercises. Regular practice is essential for mastering breathing techniques. Effective breathing requires minimizing external distractions. Reducing interference enhances focus and control during practice.